Hi, what's going on, everybody? Hope this video finds you well. This right here is going to be one of my favorite videos, and I think it's a video that everybody can use. Like, I use this with all different types of players, and this is literally how can we create better compression on our irons, and we're going to show you the least invasive way that we can do it without having to change a lot of things. So this is going to be a impact drill that I like to use for a lot of players if they're struggling with compression on their irons. So before we get into that, if you haven't checked out the last video that I did, please click on the link down below. I've also got a free crash course, Understanding Impact. Would love to have you be a part of that. Check that out. And let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So if we go into why do people struggle with compressing their irons, and what do I see here on the lesson tee on a consistent day-to-day basis, why people struggle with that, I would say it has a lot to do with where we get our pressure to, and especially the relationship between the pelvis and between the chest right here. So when we look at impact, so if I had a stock model, what I like to see out of impact right here is if we called this the spine straight up and down, and this is neutral, this would be a 0 degree spine angle. Okay? And so we're going to measure it this direction and this direction. Well, at impact, I usually see the pressure in the hips get about this far forward to where this angle would form running through the spine. This would be about a 15-degree, we could call this a tilt, be about a 15-degree tilt where the pelvis has pushed more forward than where it started, yet the head's access point has still stayed the same. So this right in here, when we get the pressure forward like this is what gives us the ability to accelerate and rotate and move our trail side into this lead hip right here, allowing us, I would say, to hit the golf ball first, the ground second, etc. So these would be kind of my basic parameters. And so the way that I would get you to actually do this is if you took your normal setup from here, face on. So we're going to have our normal setup. Okay, pressure is going to be right in here on the balls of our feet. Our arms are pretty close. So what I'm going to have you do firstly is we're going to keep the head here. So we're going to move the pressure of the hips forward until the left hip is over where our shoe is right here. The trail leg will start to straighten, and we still have just a little bit of flex here in this lead knee. Then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to push the pressure of the handle onto where our lead leg is. And I think this is one of the biggest and the most important pieces of this drill right here is we're going to be taking our trail arm and we're going to be externally rotating the shoulder, which is moving the elbow closer to where the center of our spine would be, or what we would call midline here. So I would go here, pressure forward, a little bit of knee flex, the trail leg has straightened, and then I'm going to bring my trail arm in here and push that forward right there. So now I've got what I would call a post or a decelerator. So this lead side that is a decelerator is what's allowing now my trail side to work into this and accelerate as I'm delivering the golf club from, let's call it hip high, down into and through the golf ball. Now, one of the ways that I think is a very good reference for a lot of us to practice is if you take an alignment stick here. I'm going to have you take this and put this to where it is in line with your trail heel. So if we measured out club heads, this would be 1, 2, roughly 3 club head widths from heel to toe behind the center of the golf ball back to this line. So this would now give us a relationship. If we didn't have pressure forward and we stayed backwards, we're probably going to run into this, and that would mean now that we are out of sequence and we are accelerating the hands at a higher rate than the body's pressure is moving forward and the arms are moving forward. So this is a very simple drill that I think you can really get a lot out of right here. So I'd be right in here again. This would be the order in which we would do this. Neutral setup. I'm going to push the pressure forward. I have a little bit of flex in my lead knee. My trail leg is starting to straighten, and this is putting me into about a 15-degree tilt if you were to measure this on a camera right here. I will then take my trail elbow, bring it into midline, which is externally rotating the shoulder, and my hands will rest here on my lead leg. And then from here, I would swing this halfway back. This is our break, and I'm going to accelerate the trail side of my body into this while I'm keeping the head center axis right in here. And I would be in here and push that forward. And I would be driving that. So this side is really putting on the brake. So that pressure, I'm not letting my knee go well past my foot here. The ball of my foot right here is my pressure that is stopping us. It's in actuality, it's pushing force backwards away from us, but we're just going to call it a decelerator. And we would then be accelerating our trail arm and the trail side of our body into that right there. So if we did this drill right here, I would set this up right in here. So again, we're going to be 3 club heads, 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be right in there. I take my normal setup. I'm going to push the pressure of the hip forward. You can see I've got a little bit of flex in my lead leg. The trail leg is starting to straighten. I'm going to bring my trail arm external, which is taking my elbow and putting it closer to my midline. And I'm going to let my handle rest on my lead leg. Here would be my rehearsal. I'd swing this back, fire my trail side into my lead side, missing the stick, and this should come off as a pretty compressed golf ball. So here's my impact feel. I'd work this back, and that would be more of my look right there. So the trajectory of that golf ball came out a lot flatter. It was very compressed. And that is a drill that you can use both from a starting point where you're mimicking what your impact is, and we can also do that from a neutral setup. That's what I like about drills like this, is now if I did this from a neutral setup right here, so that I'm hitting in the same spot, so we'd go right in here, 1, 2, 3 club heads. We're going to get that a little closer. So I would be in here. Here's my neutral setup. I'm going to feel where my impact is. I'm set up here, and then I'm going to go. And that's what I wish every golf ball right there felt like. So this is a drill that you can use starting at what your impact feel is. And we can also do it from a neutral setup standpoint once we've gotten the hang of it and once we've gotten the feel of it at impact. So this is an area of your game. I promise you this, you can never, ever get too good at understanding impact. Always design change around making better contact. Here's a great drill, great way to do it. If you have any questions for me, please leave those in the comments down below. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.